Hey there, it's David, no recipe required, and today it's summertime. We're going to do some ribs, some baby back ribs. Way I do them, I take a slab of ribs, do a nice little dry rub on them, let them kind of sit and marinate. It's not really marinate. Let the rub sit on them for a couple hours in the fridge. Then I actually bake them off in the oven here. I think that's the most controlled way to get them nice and tender. Then we're going to go ahead and finish them on the grill. We're going to walk through every step. We're going to show you how to do it. We're going to show you how to make the perfect baby back ribs. Really easy to do. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we've got our baby back ribs here. This was actually one slab. So I used my handy knife and I cut it in half, so I've got two. Just easier to handle with the two individual pieces. Ooh. I've got ingredients for our rub here. Most important, and I wouldn't recommend changing or taking out, is brown sugar. About a quarter to a third of our total rub is going to be brown sugar. Here I've got a little bit of smoked paprika, which has, again, a nice little smoky flavor to it. Chili powder. I'm using ancho chili powder, but use whatever you want. This is garlic powder and oregano. On the rub like this, other than the brown sugar, you know, be creative. Use whatever you want. I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. That was a good 4 or 5 pinches of kosher salt. We've got some black pepper in here, and once we get all of this mixed together, we're going to do a little mix. This is going to be our rub for our ribs, and I'm going to coat both sides of the ribs. This is the meaty side, and the other side, I don't know why I'm just turning it around like that. Why don't I just get in there? So just grab kind of handfuls of the rub, generously get it in there. You want to make sure we pat down and really have the rub absorb. You want to make sure you get a little bit more on this meat side. While we're going to do both sides, the reality is the back side, there's not a lot of meat, not a lot of bone there, so you want to make sure we get a good amount here. I'm going to flip these over. I'm going to come back in just a second, and we're going to show you how to wrap these up. We're going to let them sit for a couple hours. Okay, so I just rinsed my hands off. I've got our ribs coated. You can see, yummy. There's all that dry rub on there. It's going to be super tasty. I've got some heavy-duty aluminum foil here, and I'm just going to wrap the ribs. This is actually what we're going to cook the ribs in, but we're also just going to kind of let them sit and marinate on that rub for anywhere from an hour to like up to 4 hours. So this is our nice little rib package. I'm going to put this on a cooking sheet and then put both of them in the oven to just rest for, like I said, I'm going to do about 2 hours based on the time that I've got. All right, guys. So here are our ribs out of the fridge. I let them sit for about 2 hours. Put them on a baking sheet here. I'm going to put them into a 250-degree oven for about 2 hours. All right, guys. So I've let my ribs go in the pouch for about 2 hours or so. I'm going to try and gingerly unwrap, and we're just trying to get a little bit of a sense for how done they are. There's going to be some juice in the package, and if you can, you want to try and save some of that juice because it can always be tasty in a barbecue sauce. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. You see how the meat is pulled off the bones? If I put a fork in there, it's all nice and tender. So these are definitely done. They're tender, but they're not kind of crispy. So what I like to do, I'm going to wrap this back up. I'm just going to let it rest. You could do this the day before. I'm going to let mine rest for an hour or so. And we're going to come back, we'll flip them over. The meat will be a little bit firmer, and we're going to grill them off. Alright guys, so these are the ribs. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, life got in the way yesterday, and I actually could not finish these off. I had family, kid, other duties taking care of me. So I actually just took them, I put them in the fridge overnight. All this congealed fat and flavor, it is flavor, is going to be super yummy. So I just took them out of the fridge about an hour and a half ago. I'm letting them come up to room temperature. They're fully cooked, and I'm going to do the same thing I would do even if I just didn't refrigerate them overnight. If they had just sat around for an hour or so. So you can definitely do up to this step ahead of time. What we're gonna do, I'm just gonna get that over there. We got some beautiful ribs here. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna turn the grill on. We're gonna sear these off, put a little barbecue sauce on them, kind of finish them on the grill, get that nice crustiness on the outside. They're gonna be awesome. Okay, so I'm just laying my what are these called? Ribs down on the grill. Unlike a lot of grills or a lot of methods, I'm not going super high heat. I'm going kind of medium heat because so much sugar in the rub there. I don't want any of that to burn. So medium high heat. We're gonna let these go for about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm gonna close the lid, let everything go. I'm just trying to get everything kind of brown, a little bit crusty. I've got my barbecue sauce, I got my brush. We're gonna start basting in just a minute. All right, after just a few minutes, we're gonna go ahead and turn it. You can see just getting a little bit of color on the ribs. I'm gonna go ahead and do our first coating of barbecue sauce. Now, you don't wanna go too crazy, because again, the barbecue sauce has a ton of sugar in it. You just want to lacquer it on there a little bit, and it's gonna melt in with the heat. Ooh, the grill is hot. Burns my hand a little bit, but anything for my fans. All right, lacquered on there. I'm gonna close the grill again, and just let that sauce kind of again brown in there and just meld into the ribs. All right, so you can see the colors on our ribs are changing. They're getting soft and tender again. I'm just gonna go one more turn over as the kids chat in the background. It is a barbecue afternoon. We're gonna do a little bit of sauce on this side. We're gonna get both of them. I'm gonna let these go for about 3 or 4 more minutes. And then yeah, the kids are going crazy now. And then we're gonna come back and serve them up. All right, so it's literally just a couple minutes or so, especially if you got a thinner rack than a thinner one. Hey, Kara. You definitely don't want it to go too long, or they're gonna get really kind of mushy on you. You just want to get a little bit of color. There you go on that sauce on those ribs. We're gonna pull them off. I'm gonna let them cool until I can touch them, and then we're gonna serve them up. All right, guys, so here is our ribs. You can obviously serve up a whole slab at once, or go ahead and cut them up. I like maybe double rib portions. You know, I'm gonna be dainty and serve up 2, but honestly, I'm gonna come back and do probably more than 2. We'll take a little sliver here. You can see kind of how tender this meat is. And so yummy. These ribs are absolutely fantastic. I love the baby backs. I hope you will too. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required. All right, so these are my baby back ribs. Like I said, a little bit of time in the fridge with that dry rub on them, oven, finish them on the grill, get them nice and crusty and delicious. You can make them, they're not hard. Let me know how it goes, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.